This week, I want to concentrate on Christian hope.
O come, Emmanuel.
I'm going to talk just about the reasonable part of Christian hope today, and I'm going to talk about the unconditional love of God and the pathway to salvation in future episodes. Well, how can reason or evidence be gathered to sustain the fact that we're called to a resurrection, that God wants to bring us to that resurrection? Indeed, that the resurrection is real. Indeed, that God is real. We have more metaphysical proofs today than we've ever had before. We have more scientific evidence for God and a creation of the universe than we've ever had before. We have things like the Borda-Vilenkin and Guth proof. We also have the entropy evidence and new fine-tuning evidence that shows the intelligence of the design of the creation that are set forth in the initial conditions and constants of the universe. If you're interested in that evidence, you ought to go to crediblecatholic.com. Then click on the 7 essential modules and go to modules 2 and 3. Today also we have more evidence for the soul, a transphysical soul that's going to survive bodily death, than we've ever had before in history. We have these peer-reviewed medical studies of near-death experiences, along with peer-reviewed medical studies of what's called terminal lucidity, which show us that consciousness can survive bodily death. Consciousness can survive brain death, and if that's the case, this consciousness then is living without being attached to the physics of this universe. And that's really important indeed, not just for our young people, but for everybody, because it gives us hope in the resurrection. If you're interested in that evidence, go to crediblecatholic.com, click on the 7 essential modules, and go to module 1. We have more evidence today for Jesus than we've ever had before. Not just Jesus' historical existence. We've got more historical, exegetical, and scientific evidence for Jesus' existence and his resurrection in glory. Just consider the following. The Shroud of Turin. In order to get the image on the shroud, which is a very special image, you're going to have 6 to 8 billion, with a B, billion watts of light energy coming from every three-dimensional point on that body. And this is really remarkable. But my point, I think, which is really important, is that this evidence is pointing precisely to the kind of glorified resurrection that the Gospels write about. And of course, physical bodies without a supernatural cause don't emit 6 to 8 billion watts of light energy. Now, if you're interested in that evidence, you ought to go to crediblecatholic.com, click on the 7 essential modules, and then this time click on module 4. Overall, do we have grounds, reasonable and responsible grounds for Christian hope? The Lord has not left us bereft of evidence. We have a ton of it. Just go to crediblecatholic.com. I'm your host, Father Robert Spitzer.